In this video, we are going to be reviewing the Quantum Queen MT5 Expert Advisor by Mr. Bogdan, who is also the creator of the Quantum Emperor Expert Advisor. Stick around till the end to see if this is a legitimate trading system or if it's something that you shouldn't spend your money on. So, we can start off here by reading the sales page. And what I found quite refreshing is he's very honest that this is indeed a grid expert advisor. There's nothing wrong with grid EAs provided you understand the risk and you use them for very specific use cases, but it's just not great when developers don't share that it's a grid. But this appears to be very obviously a grid EA that specifically trades the gold pair. And going through some of these notes down here, there's not much indication on the exact strategy, but I'm sure we'll be able to see that a bit more when we run a more thorough backtest. Let's just quickly go over to the signal page, and we can see that it has been running for quite a few months in terms of MT5, MQL5 standards. And he appears to be using a relatively modest amount of risk, and it's been doing exceptionally well year to date, but we can see as well that it has yet to have any very particular drawdowns, so it could have also just been a good period. But to date, the curve looks quite solid. If we look at trading history, we can see that this is likely characteristic of a Martingale strategy. So when it starts to lose, it starts to increase the lot sizing. I will do a quick skim to see if we have any very large lot sizing. Nothing in particular. So yes, it is a grid-based system, but to date it appears to not have run into any particularly bad runs, so several runs of losing trades. You guys might know that in a grid martingale system, typically once the system starts to have losers, it will start doubling down on its trades. So it will double the lot size or apply a multiplier to the lot size. And in the event that it has 5, 6, 7, 8 losers in a row, the lot sizes can rapidly become enormous through the process of exponential growth. And this is often what leads to blown accounts eventually, as you only need one long run to blow a grid-based system. But to date, this particular system appears to be performing reasonably well. Now to pull up the terminal here, I took the liberty of downloading the Quantum Queen from the MQL5 marketplace, and I've already ran a backtest based on their default settings. So let's go through here and just take a look at the various parameters mentioned. As we can see, they do have some areas for money management where one can specify the size that you want to trade. There's also the mention of filters specifically related to slippage and a few holiday-based filters. And then they denote different strategies like strategy 1, strategy 2, but he doesn't seem to be giving too many indications regarding what the entry signal would be or what the exit signal would be. And from the description here, it doesn't seem to be indicating much either. So I think the best step now would be to start a visual backtest using every tick based on real ticks so that we can assess perhaps from watching the EA trade what strategy it is following. Okay, so I let it run for a bit, but I paused it right at this clip as it was taking quite a few trades. I thought it might give us some indication of how the strategy works. So as you can see here, there was a long run-up of price before it started to open trades at small pullback positions. So there isn't a ton of information to go off of, but My hypothesis would be that the EA's entry signal is that it searches for a trending period and then it starts to take trades in the direction of that trend, perhaps at pullback points. We can also see here that this is clearly a grid system, as when price did not go in its favor, it kept opening more and more buy positions and then closed them all here at the same point. So, I can perhaps run it for a few more seconds here, just to show you guys how it looks running, maybe on a higher time frame. But as you can see, it's a classic grid system. Now, to kind of wrap up the review, I wanted to give my view on if this would be an acceptable expert advisor. And to illustrate a point, I thought looking at gold on a higher time frame may be beneficial. Personally, I find that gold is not very well suited for grid-based expert advisors. This is simply because gold tends to trend a lot. So to give you an example, this was PPI around a couple weeks ago. As you can see, there was a very, very significant move, almost like, close to 2% within a few hours. Had a grid opened here short and then price had gone against it, it could very well have opened up several levels and ultimately ended up with an enormous lot size. Gold, as an incredibly volatile asset, which also tends to trend simply due to its nature of its appreciating asset, is often not the most suitable asset class for any sort of grid-based system. And we can see that in that most gold grid-based expert advisors tend to blow up just because it's not a very suitable asset for grid-based systems. It's volatile, it tends to trend, and it can move a lot in relatively short periods of time. So with that in mind, I would not recommend the purchase of a grid-based expert advisor that runs on gold unless you're in a prop or a demo environment where your risk is heavily capped. So similar to our review on the Quantum Emperor, grid-based systems have their place in very specific risk-capped environments, and gold grid-based systems even more so. I wanted to also contrast that with probably the most popular pair to use grid-based systems on, the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. And just by looking at the chart, you can see a significant difference, right? Like, this is very clearly a super noisy, mean reverty system. Whereas gold, it trends, and it trends beautifully. Grid-based systems are based on the concept of mean reversion, which essentially means even if you go long and it goes down, eventually it will revert back to the mean and it will go up and you will be able to close your grid in profit. With a pair like Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar, that works great because just from the fundamental perspective, the economies of Australia and New Zealand are very interlinked. So eventually the value of their currencies will tend to converge, and that supports this mean reverting premise. But gold, on the other hand, historically goes up, especially with people printing more and more US dollars and devaluing the dollar. There's an increasing divergence between the real asset value of gold and the paper value of money. So all of this ties into the fact that I would personally be very apprehensive to recommend the Quantum Emperor, or sorry, Quantum Queen, outside of a prop firm setting where you have capped risk. If you guys would like to see an expert advisor, which we developed here at Prosperity Algo, which does not use a grid system but also trades gold, we're actually offering our free Golden Time Bomb system to our viewers. Stay tuned to watch the next short clip to gain access, and have a great day. Take care. Before you click away, if you're looking to get a real expert advisor, here at Prosperity Algo Solutions, we're currently offering our Golden Time Bomb system based on automating the London breakout and opening range breakout 100% for free. Watch the pinned video to find out more and to get access.